and he named names, and he actually brought up the Illuminati thing. So I was like,
what the hell was? Sorry, what was the Illuminati thing? I wasn't quite certain.
Yeah, the Illuminati. It's basically, you know what the Illuminati is. It's supposedly a conspiracy theory that the Illuminati holds all the powerful people.
Okay,
in the
elites,
world,
like the Da Vinci Code kind of shit.
Yeah.
Now it kind of goes under like the Freemasons, or goes under the deep state.
Yeah. So, but the Illuminati did exist, but most people nowadays will tell you that it doesn't exist anymore. It's just a conspiracy theory. But he's going out there and saying, without saying, the Illuminati's real. He just kind of casually threw it out there, like
I heard that.
He knew what he did.
Okay.
He knew.
Yeah, it's all orchestrated though. That's kind of like he was talking about the Kevin Hart thing.
Yeah.
And that one, man, I was telling you about it today. That one really kind of hit because it made me feel like, fuck, we're just living in a movie, aren't we? We're just kind of puppets and someone else's, we're like little marionettes. And, if you think about, what it took me back to, dude? And not to say that Kevin Hart doesn't have talent, because obviously he's funny. He does a lot of stuff. He's been successful. But the way that he kind of pointed it out is that what did he say? It's a plant, right? So he's on the East Coast. He's in New York. But at the same time, they're saying he was up and coming in the comedy clubs, the Comedy Store and stuff like that. And he's like, well, no, he wasn't doing that. Go back in time frame that. He wasn't involved in that. At the same time, he was in New York. How could he be in two places at once? It reminded me of, remember Snoop Dogg, dude? Like when he was on Dr. Dre's album. And what did they say? He got on that one album. He was real good, dude. He was awesome. But he came from out of nowhere. Then all of a sudden, he was like this rapper. He was this gang member guy, and he just exploded.
Yeah.
And he was good, but it was almost like an experiment.
So stupid Apple's trying to update in the middle of the show. I don't believe what you will faith-wise, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, but there's a lot of people out there saying that a lot of these artists, Beyonce, to name one, have sold their souls to the devil. Mm-hmm. And that explains their meteoric rise to the top. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true or not, but it makes you stop and think about it for a second. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it only in this country where we're so, I don't understand it, but we're so fucking hyper obsessed with celebrity. I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't fanboy at all. In fact, I really don't have a use for a lot of them. Mm-hmm. For most of them, I'll tell you a quick story. We were in Hawaii, and they were filming the movie Wind Talkers. Do you remember that movie? Had Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And
it was in the movie theater for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And they pulled it.
It was a horrible movie. But anyway, Christian Slater was also in that movie. And they were doing they're putting the actors to a little mini boot camp on the base. And so Christian Slater comes over to our BAS, our battalion aid station, and starts demanding that we give Motrin to him. I'm like, oh, hell no. First of all, why don't you go get a fucking haircut and then realize where you're at and learn some fucking manners, and then maybe I'll give you some. But until then, get the fuck out of my BAS. Mm-hmm. I was wild back then, man.
Right, yeah.
This is a BC story before Connie.
Right.
Yeah. So I was raw, dude. So he's fucking trying to argue with me. I told my duty corpsman.
Like, I just need a few ibuprofen is all.
Something like that.
Is that the guy, Christian Slater?
Yeah,
he was in Heathers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I shoot him off. I told my duty corpsman, I said, do not let that son of a bitch back in this building. And lo and behold, a reserve Marine comes up and he starts talking. And I'm looking, and he's talking to the duty corpsman. I go up to him, and I went to amphibious reconnaissance school with that guy. He's like, oh, shit, what's up, Doc? I said, what's up, man? He goes, dude, can we get some Motrin and maybe some foot powder, some moleskin? I'm like, For you, absolutely. 100%. Don't you give any to that cocksucking Christian Slater over there. He starts laughing. Goes, dude, he is such an asshole.
Was he really?
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. But anyway, so yeah, that long story just to say that I really don't care about celebrities at all.
Yeah, dude, I don't either. I can't. Like, I've known people that'll go get autographs, or it just seems gay to me, but, you know.
Define gay.
Rectangular.
Oh, very, very well. Very well. Oh, look, another chat bot. Sorry to bother you, then stop.
Right.
Just don't even continue. Anyway, yeah, so fanboy, but it makes you really wonder how some people, they get picked to do these things, you know, and
well, okay, so I didn't see the whole thing. Did you? Cat Williams?
I did, but, you know,
was he saying these guys are sucking dick? And like they're like there was a Puff Daddy part. I mean, he was saying Puff Daddy's getting head from these. I mean, they're doing things for him.
I don't doubt it. I don't remember that part. It's probably when I was down here. I was working with I had the vacuum cleaner going and the jigsaw, and I was like, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I'll go back and check that out.
He's even in this interview. So this is really weird because, of course, I don't see this shit because I don't follow it. But what was the rapper's name? The Game?
Bless you.
The Game. Yeah, no,
I don't know.
There was The Game, and he was being interviewed. They said the guy interviewing him was even weird. He was like, so, I mean, he was basically asking him, "Are you gay?" And he was like, so we're hearing that you're not doing an album. Puff Daddy P. Diddy isn't doing an album with you. And he goes, no. And so they show like this whole video. The guy goes, so what are you've been hanging around with him a lot? Oh, yeah, we just hang out. It's like, well, what are you guys, like, you're not doing an album. And basically the guy was going, so what are you doing? And even the guy that the Game was going, just got a little smirk on his face, right? Like, I don't know, dude. The whole thing's weird, but you know, whatever. I mean, if you're willing. But didn't Cat Williams say that? Like, he said something along the lines of, I wanted to make sure that at the end of my Hollywood run, my anus hadn't been stretched out and it wasn't resized or some shit like that. But
I'll have to go back and watch it again because I don't remember that part. I'm not denying it. I just don't remember hearing it.
Yeah, because I put it on last night because you had mentioned it. And I was laying in bed. I just flipped through the shortcuts, and they just, you know, they do the clips. Yeah, he was saying they're gay. Like, P. Diddy's just had these guys blow him, and
I don't doubt it, man. That's a whole that's a different life, man. That's a different universe. You know, that how they live out there, and that I don't get it, but I don't knock it. But you know what? Own the shit. That's all I'm saying. I don't care.
Yeah, dude, fucking go around town and go, yeah, you know, like if you're, because they were saying like he's out buying them clothes and shit. Like, that's super shopping, dude.
He's a sugar daddy.
Trying to freaking get that shit right.
He's a sugar daddy.
I mean, that's what you're doing. Come out with it, like. But I know that the rapper wouldn't want to come out with it, right? The guy that's having that done to him, that's being. Imagine that though, dude. Imagine how. I mean, maybe it doesn't take that much. Maybe they're like, I'd do that shit for free anyway.
I let him tickle my balls a little bit.
I would have sucked him off for free anyway. But just imagine that you didn't want to. Like, you were so anti that, but you're like, I want fame so bad. And that could be construed as selling your soul to the devil. Like, you want fame so bad.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. I mean, you want it so badly that you're going to do shit you don't want to do. And then blame, you know, someone later on for it or whatnot. But these guys obviously aren't coming out of the closet about it. Can you imagine P. Diddy having a bunch of suits like Harvey Weinstein, but a bunch of rappers up there, hey, Diddy fucking made my mouth.
They never do it. The one thing I do remember, though, with Cat Williams, he was calling out, who's he saying was, he said that Harvey Weinstein wanted him to suck his dick. He wanted to suck Cat Williams' dick.
Yeah, that's how I took that.
He's a freak, man. What the fuck is going on with the screen, man?
So hard, yeah, because that's the way he meant that, right? So that wasn't. Because sometimes you hear shit and you're like, did he just say that? And now that's what he said. Harvey Weinstein wanted to blow Cat Williams.
Yeah, but he says stuff and then he moves right on. You know what I mean?
That's what he did. Yeah. May I please suck your cock?
I don't get that whole deal. You know, I'm saying I don't follow celebrities, but I get on the Drudge Report pretty frequently, and I check.
What's that?
It's a news site. It used to be a more of a conservative news site. It's really kind of going to the other side now. But anyway, there was an article that made that, and this is why I say it's going more towards left, talking about Will Smith. His bodyguard came out, and they're making accusations saying that Will Smith's a big poofter. He likes to take it in the booty.
Does he?
That's what they're saying.
Dude, so do you think... I mean, go get it, Will. But do you think that they're like... They're like... Maybe I'm misquoting this, but I can remember when I was in high school, John Travolta was in... He was big. He was still doing those massive hits, Look Who's Talking 1 and 2. And I can remember him saying he experimented, or he was gay, or had done it. You know, but he went through that run where he was like Vinnie Barbarino and all the girls wanted him, and he went in and he did Saturday Night Fever. And he was kind of alluding to the fact, it's been so long ago, but I think he was like, you know, I just had so much ass that maybe you get tired of it. Maybe you're just like, yeah, you know, I'm going to try this. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, dude. I mean, I guess I've never been so fortunate because I've never been like...
that knee deep in pussy?
So knee deep in pussy that I'm getting freaking pegged. You know?
Whoa.
What was that?
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on tonight. This is... I'm just rolling with it, dude.
Just roll with it.
It is what it is, you know? You know what? I think I'm hitting with my elbow. I'm hitting something over here, I think.
That's great.
That's awesome.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, whatever. But, yeah, man, this again, quit being fake, man. If you like dick, just go with it, man. I don't care. A lot of people, I guarantee a lot of people out there don't care. Now, there's some...
I'd like to hear the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the stories. Like wouldn't it be great to hear, and I don't know much about P. Diddy, but I did see that game talking. These guys that are talking all macho, and then just fucking 69 and after like a video shoot. Like that would be fucking like, so what happened after we got done doing it, I just fucking grabbed the shit and I sucked that motherfucker dry.
Damn, Skippy, that's where I get my inspiration from.
Yeah, just these hard asses like 1, 2, 3 and to the 4. Yeah, I can remember after we shot that video, I gave Andreas a rim job out in the back parking lot.
1, 2, 3 into the booty.
3 into the 4.
Yeah. Snoop Doggy Dogg's getting banged on the floor.
So that would be, yeah, but dude, I mean, there's so much shit coming out right now, which I think that everyone knew, right? I think maybe not to that degree, but there's so much shit going on in that dirty fucking business, right? Hey,
speaking of the devil and cocksucking, Joe's in the room. What's up, Joseph?
What's up, Joe?
Josephus.
Are you here to talk about the Cat Williams interview, or?
He's here to talk about 50 caliber wound.
50 caliber?
50 caliber wound. That's his favorite tattoo from what I hear.
Is it?
Yeah, he loved it. Do you not know that story?
I can't see the type.
He said, "Sup, bitches." You know, I'm thinking, Joseph, you should probably call in to the show. So anyway, long story. I'll try to shorten it down. I'll condense it. Basically, I had everybody convinced I had a tattoo of a 50 caliber wound. And when they told me to prove it, I basically dropped my trowel, spread my ass cheeks. And that's my 50 caliber wound.
It's probably fucking tore up too, right?
And so
like
I was...
bowl of soup.
Don't judge. But so I was probably about 1.5 inches away from Joe's nose when I showed him my tattoo. So that is the much abridged version of that story. Anyway, I find it funny that the two of us really don't care shit about celebrities, and we're sitting here talking about them
A lot.
But
I just want to know their gay sex life. Like if they're
wait a minute.
How serious would it be, or funny would it be to find out that like all that shit was true? Because when you think of that, and I'm sure they got a lot of ass, right? They got a lot of girls too, but
sure. What up, Murdog?
We were always looking at them, going, "Look at all these hot women they got around them." What if it wasn't? That wasn't what they wanted.
What if P. Diddy plays the role of, yo, what up? What up? You know, and then behind the scenes, like, oh my God, it's fabulous. Joseph.
Am I live or what?
You are live, and sounds like you're alive too.
Oh, I'm groovy.
Oh, you're
So
something.
how do I be on the phone and on the podcast here? Oh, there we go.
10% real, man. 10% real. So, Joe, what's your thought on P. Diddy sucking dick? All right, then. Good chat.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, what was your take? You didn't catch the Gervais, then you didn't really follow that, but dude, he doesn't give a fuck, dude. Gervais, he was just like slamming the shit. He didn't care.
So watching what I did watch of him, it seems to me that he would fit in well with myself and Joe and Murdoch and you and yeah. So to me, it's not shocking because that's my views every day and how I, express them. But yeah, what do you think, Joe? All right, good chat.
No, it's quite delayed.
Oh.
I'm just waiting for it to catch up.
Got it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a shit. I think it's nice that he can't be canceled. But so what do you think now, like Chappelle coming out? Because Chappelle just keeps doubling down. They go after him. He gets harder. He gets stronger with it. And it doesn't look like he's going to give up. And then, Burr has kind of been doing it lately. But then he's not like those guys. You can tell he's got a little... You can tell he still has that Hollywood bug.
Yeah, I think his wife keeps him in check, man.
I just think Burr wants to be a fucking movie star. I mean, I really do. I think that's the one thing. If he didn't care so much, if he, don't forget Rogan had said that when he went to Austin. Part of the reason was he just wanted to get those guys, come out here. He was like, get the fuck away from those people. They will fucking use you up and spit you out. So that was kind of his idea. If I can pull all those guys out here and they're not in that Hollywood limelight, maybe that'll help comedy.
No worries, Joe. No big deal. I think the system is doing something stupid tonight. But anyway, yeah. Chappelle, man, you're never going to cancel. You can't cancel somebody who just doesn't give a shit. I'm going to, his whole, I'm going to keep being me. I've got my fan base. They're going to keep coming to see me no matter what, and how do you can't cancel someone with a spine. Basically.
Yeah, and I think we got to give kudos, man, because so many people, and I hate to do this because we always slam on them so much, like everybody that's on the opposite side, or it seems like they are. But you got to give kudos to Netflix, dude, because they don't have to air Ricky Gervais. They don't have to put that on there for people to watch and hear his side. And if they don't air it, you don't hear his side. Chappelle's the same thing, right? He's on Netflix. They don't have to air that. They're kind of giving it, hey, if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you like this, they put stuff up for everybody. That's fine. Yeah. That was kind of the problem I always had with a lot of these places, is it just seemed like it was going one direction. And it seemed like if you weren't on that side, the woke side, the side that, the squeaky wheel, then they would just, they wouldn't air it. But it seems like Netflix is actually saying, hey, we got shit for you. We got shit for you. You don't have to watch that if you don't want to. Don't watch it. But they put it on there for people like us. And you kind of got to give it up, because we wouldn't hear that Gervais special. We wouldn't hear Chappelle say the things he's saying, because obviously it is offending people, right? So
he said One Direction.
What's that?
I guess it's a band.
Okay.
It's a boy band or some shit. Right up there with Instinct and the Backdoor Boys.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. Fuck, there goes that thought again. I'm having a rough night tonight, dude.
Yeah. Well, you're all over the place with the thing. Just let it go, man.
Yeah, it's, but... Oh, that's what it was. Michael Jordan. He said, what did he say? Something to the effect of Republicans buy my shoes too?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he said, like, why don't you speak out? And he said, well, because Republicans buy tennis shoes too. And that's true, you know. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be running a business, not a look at Disney, dude. They're the worst. We talked about them last week or a couple weeks ago. They're fucking bombing, dude, because they decided to get involved in the activism and politics. They didn't need to. Not that I know of. Did anybody ever say, hey, Disney, we need to know your take on who should be the next president? We want to know what you think about transgenders. We want to know what you think about straight people and straight relationships. And they did. They just fucking felt compelled. And that's not what no one ever said, what does Walt Disney think? I wonder what Disney thinks about transgender issues.
Well, that's good because he's dead.
Yeah. Well, he's spinning around in his grave right now. But, that's the thing is, that's the way it used to be. No one gave a shit. No one ever fucking...
You shouldn't.
It was separate.
It's like the fucking kneeling for the national anthem. Dude, I'm not watching this shit for your politics. I'm watching to see you take somebody's head off. You know what I mean?
Right. And if you want to... If that's your thing, if you're an activist, go be an activist. But I always thought it was bad enough when people did it, like when athletes were doing it on a, you're wearing a uniform, you're out there on someone else's time, and you're being political. If you're on your own time, that's fine. Do your thing.
Right. Totally, 100%.
Corporations started getting involved. Nike, Coca-Cola, Levi's, everybody was getting involved. Like,
Bud
Light. No one fucking cared. No one ever went to the voting booth and said, I wonder how fucking Levi's workers would vote. Wonder how the CEO of fucking Coca-Cola would vote tonight. No one cares. No one gave a shit. No one ever will. So
Joe brings up a good point. He says Disney is bombing because they decide to buck the story and make Little Mermaid black. Racist.
Well, hey, so I just I heard this the other day. There's a movie out right now. I think it's on YouTube, it's YouTube. Yeah, so YouTube, the guy, it's a Catholic organization. They made it based upon Disney's why they're crashing, why they're failing, and they're pointing that there's no cussing. It's Catholic. There's no cussing, nothing involved in it. But YouTube has. They've put, what is it, where they put the disclaimers for like youth, parental guidance or stuff like that. And they're like, well, why are you doing that? We don't have anything in there. But they're just trying to kind of censor that
of
way.
Course, yeah.
Because it's about Disney. And that's just because Disney's got the money and this Catholic organization doesn't, at least that we know of.
Speaking of Catholics, boy, oh boy, the Pope's done gone and stepped in it again.
Yeah, dude, this guy's a fucking retard.
So now he's saying that same-sex unions can be recognized by the Catholic Church, and he's recognizing transgenders as well. And all of the bishops and the priests, anyone that is against that, are being fired. I read an article on it the other day, and it's, again, stay out of politics, man. Just stay out of it. That's why Jesus got nailed on the cross. Politics.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Take that story of the Bible out, man. That dude got persecuted because of his politics.
Yeah. Well, this guy's definitely different. I don't think we're seeing a first in so many ways. Dude, the president we got is, we haven't never seen it. I have never seen, they were showing some of the footage recapping some of the shit he said, and now he's back at it again. And dude, he is, no matter what side you're on, right or left, you've never seen this from a president before. You've never seen a president come out and say, dude, you know that 50% of the country supports Trump. We know that. For right or wrong, this guy's saying they're bad people. He's literally coming out, and we've never, ever seen that in this country before. And those that did all the talk about Trump and said what they, like he's this fastest. Dude, the fastest is literally, that's that guy. Trump never said anything like that. He never said 50, I hate 50. Here's how Biden's talking. If you're not with him, then you're against him. And you need to be looked at. He's literally fucking saying it.
Well, yeah, he even said that during the last election. If you don't vote for me, you're not black, to an all-black crowd.
Dude,
but
he's got to be the worst fucking racist I've ever. It's so funny because he says he's not, but it's not authentic, dude. You can watch that guy and go, he's not an authentic guy. When other presidents have done it, you could buy into it. He's just not a trusting. He's not authentic.
Would you say that you are a Trump supporter or not really?
Dude,
are you a Trump guy?
I mean, in this case, 100%. Yeah.
So what do you think about his name being all over those Epstein documents?
Yeah.
Listen, she told me she was 18. I believed her. She didn't have her ID. She said she left it at home. It's okay.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about that. I heard him say that Clinton's in there. I don't know enough about that.
I'm going to say it. If he's in there and he needs to fucking fry with the rest of them.
If he's involved in that anyway, yeah, that's more important. And that's something, kudos to you, because I know you you're on that side, but you're on that side only because of what we're getting right now. I think that you can't be on this side when the economy's doing this poorly, and it's doing fucking bad. And anybody that doesn't understand that and says, well, there's Bidenomics. He quit saying Bidenomics now, by the way. He's done with that. He quit saying that, there's so much shit like, well, my economy's done better. If your economy is doing better, it wouldn't have inflation. That's simple economics. If there's inflation, it's because your fucking dollar that you make can't keep up with the dollar that you're spending. And so that's fucking inflation, and it's the highest it's ever been underneath the guy. And another thing that he always says is, well, it's at 3%. I think it's actually higher now, but it was at 9, 10, and that was even higher then. It just depends what you like. If you ever watch them, they'll go, well, it's like at 9% for diapers, and you'll go get some fucking canned tuna, and it's like 15%. And it's like they don't talk about that. They'll talk about certain things. They select a few, but that's never going down. And when you say it got there, that stays. It fucking stays. We were just out looking at flooring, and the guy said that flooring was real wood flooring was up to $10 a foot. So everybody's doing laminate now because that's at $5. But real wood flooring used to be at $5, so everybody was doing that. But now they can't get it anymore. And I said to the guy, "It's never going back either." And he's like, "No." And that's the reality of it. That's inflation. It's set. It's got new standards. It'll never go back down. And it just keeps going up.
Well, hell, let's just print more money.
Well,
that'll solve everything.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the reality is if there's inflation, then something's wrong. It's just that simple. So he can sit there and spout all that he wants. It's not hard economics to understand that inflation is your dollar you're making. You're not getting paid more. And if you are, it's minuscule compared to how much more shit is. That's inflation in a fucking nutshell.
I would rather have Jimmy Carter back as president than Biden.
Well, Carter, dude,
he was horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Carter, because that was like one of the first, and for different reasons, the nostalgic era of it. And he was a good guy. He was a governor of Georgia.
He was a good guy, but he was a horrible president. And did you know that he was a submarine officer?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he was in the Navy. He was a submarine officer, and I'm pretty sure he's probably pretty piece of shit leader there too. Mm-hmm. But my point is I would rather have him. Oh, I don't doubt that. But that's why I'm saying I'd rather have him back because he did mean well, and Biden has no one's agenda in his heart except for his.
He's a corporatist. This Nikki Haley shit's fucking crazy to me because she's gaining ground on Trump, but it's like, I guess we like that. That's what that lady is. It'll be a perpetual war if she's in office. She's a fucking corporatist. Dude, I don't think she never has. I mean, people need to go back and look at her when she was in Trump's administration. She was in there for a while. She also went off. She was governor of South Carolina or something like that.
One of them fucking states.
Notice she never talks. She's not running. Even DeSantis will run on what he's done. There's two people right now that I can tell Biden He doesn't run on anything he's done. He just talks about Trump. And Haley doesn't run on anything she's done. She just talks about what's his name? Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
Who I do like. I do think. But dude, again, they're just politicians. That's all they are.
I kind of like Vivek because of the fact that he's not a politician, which is why I like Trump at the beginning.
Vivek's a politician. Anybody that has that fucking slick tongue like that, he's good.
Well, I mean, you could say that about Trump too. But Trump was I take that back. Trump was a politician, but he wasn't your stereotypical of the same mold politician, because you don't become as rich as that dude is without having some type of political skills. Now, I just like the way he uses them. He's much more effective to the point. But I mean, look at Vivek. What other choices do we have, really? Christie dropped out today.
Good.
Yeah, they opened up a new Krispy Kreme closer to his fucking polling place, so he said, fuck it, I'd rather go there.
What's he even thinking? I mean, what is this, his second go-around?
Yeah,
he did it in 16, and
he's a two-time loser. That's what I was going to say. When you were talking about how Biden was just trashing Trump and everything, and not Trump, but the citizens, right? Well, Hillary did the same thing.
Yeah,
when she called him deplorable.
Deplorables. Yeah, but he didn't. It starts kind of there. Obama didn't do that shit.
No, let me be
that's
clear.
the funny thing, man, is
Obama was.
I can't, honest to God, man. Whether you whether you liked Obama or you didn't, or whatever your thoughts are on him, he wasn't this type of politician. I don't think he would have said anything like that. I don't. This is the first time that I can recall. He'd probably have to go back to Woodrow Wilson, man, in 14, when he was. I think he got in office in 13. But that would be the only guy I think that weaponized the DOJ. Was pretty dirty. Was a fucking liar. He was a corporatist too. He wanted to get us into war, even though he said he wouldn't. That's probably the closest we could get to that. I don't think we've seen this though. I don't think people understand. They hate Trump so much. They hate the neighbor so much. I don't think they understand it. This is how that shit starts. This is what you guys were afraid of, or telling us we should be afraid of. He gets up there and says, I'm worried about democracy. You mean you're worried about, like, what? People weaponizing their fucking government and the police and courts against political opponents? Is that what you're talking about? Because that's what Wilson did, and that's what you're doing. Dude, the fucking thing, the very thing that they say that he's going to do, they're doing. They're literally doing.
And he is a fascist, by virtue of what they're doing to Trump. And it's hard to give him credit for anything because he's so mentally gone. But whoever's pulling the strings, they know what they're doing, man. Straight fascists. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh, don't look at me. Look over here. Hunter Biden laptop, Epstein. Choose one.
So, we talked about this the other day, and I don't know if it's right, but I was watching Biden on New Year's, and every time I hear him talk, he can't speak. Dude, we've gotten so used to it that I can't understand what he says half the time. And then people roll right over it like, how did you hear that? They're even putting subtitles down for him now. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Yeah, they put fucking, because you can't, he runs and he runs the shit together and you can't hear it. You legit. Think about Obama, who's really good at talking. I mean, he was a great speaker. He enunciated everything he said, and he was powerful. Dude, we have got like the fucking worst of that. Like, we've got like a water-headed Jimmy Carter in office, and no one says a goddamn thing about it. We've gotten so used to it that we should all be going, well, I didn't hear what he said, so did he say something bad? Well, none of us understood any of that. And it's that bad. But so I was telling you, and maybe this sounds unpatriotic, or maybe it's un-American, or maybe, but we're pretty deep here, right? I think it's going to show in a couple of years with the immigration how why don't we just take this elevator to the bottom floor. And part of me wants another 4 years of Biden, man. Just because. Let's just put everything else aside, the future of our kids. Let's just say that, fuck, we already know it's going to be this. It's already going to be that. Who doesn't want to see that guy, I mean, really, in 3 fucking years at a podium? If he can even stand at the podium. That's free fucking entertainment.
I don't want that at all.
No?
Not at all.
Man, dude. Do you think we can get that low that we...
Yeah.
You think,
yeah. We're heading there. So... if he gets in another 4 years, we will be in at least one conflict, if not multiple conflicts.
Oh, for sure.
You know, your second term, all bets are off. No fucks given. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about trying to get reelected. That's the dangerous part. That's what everybody should be worried about. But let's just talk about his mental health, man. You know, why are we so focused on someone that's not even in office anymore? No. Why aren't we looking at this guy saying he's mentally incompetent? And there's an amendment for that, to remove him from office. But it's treacherous. Because if he is removed under the 25th Amendment, then who's in charge? Mm-hmm. Well, who's the figurehead? Because she ain't in charge of shit.
Dude, I don't know, but you're so right. I mean, this guy couldn't identify his fucking kids in a lineup. I mean, he's so far gone. I mean,
Well, yeah, he can. He just sniffs them.
I'm serious, but I think every day, this is a guy that if he gets out of bed without killing himself, I think it's fucking unbelievable. And it's almost like we refuse to see that, right? It's almost like we're so far gone that we're not able to see it or whatnot, but
people don't want to see it.
But why?
They're afraid of the truth. Basically, it would radically change their entire belief system, the way they believe their whole lives. They're not willing to admit that and give that up. So instead, let's just carry on with the narrative. Mm-hmm. God forbid I'm wrong. I've been wrong billions of times in my life, right? I'm not afraid to admit it. But there are people out there who are afraid to admit wrongdoing, or when they're wrong, they're refuse to accept responsibility for their actions. And let's face it, we got a nation full of victims. Everybody's playing the victim role.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like if where we're headed right now, all those people that they despise, all those right wingers with the weapons and the fighters and the stuff like that, the big burly guys they all think are the same people. Those are probably going to be the guys that are going to take up arms. You know, Douglas Murray says, and it's true, that the revolutionaries, the people that start the shit, the people out in the streets, the people that do the rioting, the people that do the activism, they're always the first to fall because they get wiped out first. And then what's left behind are the people that are fighting, and that's the people that were quiet, the ones in the back. And if that's the case, like, we're getting to that point, right? Like, we're getting to the point where, you know, well, dude, what's going to happen with China? What do you think? Do you think they're definitely taking Taiwan, right?
They're going to take Taiwan before Biden gets out of office.
For sure. You strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yep.
You can't risk if Trump were to get in, which there's no fucking way he gets in.
No, Trump is... I don't know why we're focusing on Trump so much. Trump's done. Mm-hmm. You know, regardless if you're a Trump fan or not, the hard facts are there. There is no way in hell he will ever get back into office.
No way.
He's very likely to go to damn jail. And
if he goes to jail, he won't come out.
No.
And I don't think if they can't keep him in there, something will happen to him. Like when the CIA says, if you throw him in jail when there's that gag order, and if you break it, you're going to jail. The judge said that, and they said, well, we can't protect him in jail. That's when I was like, bingo, that's how they're going to do it.
Yep.
But that's what I tell everyone. I think it's madness, man, when you turn on, you watch the right side talk or anybody go, well, you know, the things are looking good for us. And, you know, you watch Megyn Kelly, and she does a great job of covering it and breaking it down. But I think they all, her and all of her guests tend to ignore something that I think is right there. Picture the world, man. Picture this country with Trump standing on those White House steps again. It's not going to happen.
No.
It just won't.
Uh-oh. Anyway, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I want him back in office. I honestly believe that nothing will be accomplished. It'll be another 4 years of, hey, let's do everything we can to get this guy out of office. You know, screw the country.
They won't be able to get him back out. That they tried. If he were to get back in there, and he's not going to. Let's just be clear.
Let me be clear.
He won't get back in there. He won't. You won't see him back in the White House again.
I'm not saying that they would succeed in getting him out of office, but that's the problem right there. They're going to waste all that time and effort on the full 4 years of trying to get rid of him instead of, I don't know.
They'll have gotten rid of him before the 4 years ever come.
Your job as a senator or a representative or a congressman, how about we focus on that? Call me crazy.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know what more. They're telling you, when you see what you're seeing right now, it's not normal.
No.
None of this is normal. And if they're doing this, you know, they're trying to break you down to the idea that this is normal, and then they'll pull the next thing. But none of this is normal. It never has been. It's never been done before. President's never been impeached twice in one term, and then never went after him out of there when they were out of office. This is totally abnormal, and that's what I say. Guys are telling you. They are telling you, don't be surprised when this happens. And that's why I always say, man, it's going to be a crazy year.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to happen. I got my ideas at last resort. You know, I've been the one saying it's going to be Obama. I think she runs. I think she announces here soon.
Wait a minute, which she?
Danny Obama.
Danny Glover. Okay.
Mike Obama.
Well, I didn't know if you were talking about Barack. You know, since he was.
It would be him again. But dude, I always said that if they feel it's going to fail, and it's going to fail with him.
You totally missed that.
I did.
That went right over your head.
I did. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Obama, they're saying he's gay now.
No, I knew he was gay. I didn't. Yeah.
So you said her, Miss Obama. I said which one?
Okay, I got it. All right, I missed it. Wow.
Have another drink.
Jesus, you're killing me. Anyhow, well, I'm getting into this thing here. I'm trying to get this out, but I've been saying this for a long time that it's going to be heard because I think they're going to realize he's too far gone.
Oh. Duh.
Right, so she's either going to run or they're going to have to kill him.
Watch what happens.
Yeah.
All right. None of them have announced a running mate yet. She's going to be his running mate.
Yeah, it still won't happen.
She's going to be his running mate. He'll get elected, and then they're going to remove him from office.
So let me ask you this, and I'll tell you why that won't happen. But I'm just going to paint you a scenario. Are you telling me that the black female that he made such an issue of putting in that place, not once did Biden ever say, I'm going to get the best person for the job. He said, I'm going to get a black female. That's what he said. Are you telling me he's going to pull her, that black female he made such an issue about?
Yes.
He can't. They can't.
Yes, he can. It's been done in the past where the incumbents choose a different running mate.
Yeah.
His only goal.
It's been done in the past, but not. First off, you're missing my point. There's two things there. He's the guy that said it needs to be a woman and it needs to be a black woman. Now you're telling me he did all that and he's going to go ahead and pull her now? Happy birthday.
I don't know what the fuck is going on, man.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, Joe says not racist. There's tons of stories and feeds surrounding it. It sounds like the military. I'm not sure. I'm lost. I don't remember what we're talking about. But anyway, yeah, I think he will do it. And no one. Who is our vice president?
But that doesn't matter. That's the problem. He's painted himself into a corner. He's the guy, not anybody else. He's the guy that said black, female. He's taking this motherfucker to the grave with him. He's got to, dude. There's no way if you pull her, it's going to piss everyone off. I don't care if you replace her with Michelle Obama.
I'd have to disagree with you. I think
There's
that's
no
the
way.
key. So here's what's going to happen. He's either going to do that, right? Or a couple months, he's going to drop out from the race. And, look who puts her hat in the ring. Or his, or whatever it is at this point.
I've said it, dude. Yeah, they'll force him out. I think they wanted to see how this would go. It's not looking good. But what does what do the polls mean, anyways? At this point, they don't mean shit to me.
The polls are notoriously inaccurate. You can skew a poll any way you want. So I've never held any credence to the polls.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit to me. So what does it essentially mean? What point do they say we need to poll him? Or he has if I were Joe Biden, I wouldn't get next to a flight of stairs at this point. I fucking promise you that.
And if he does, I just hope there's a camera
How
there.
does he walk around when he does this fucking route? Like he walks with his fucking hands. Like I would just stay the fuck away from stairs, Joe. Don't go near stairs.
He's got the textbook gait, if you will, of a person that has mental cognition
It's natural.
discrepancies.
Yeah, he's what is it? Proprioception.
Yeah.
So he's always looking down, but he's trying not to. That's why all the stepping. So when you lose that, that's your north, south, east, west. You know things are in front of you. I can identify there's a table in front of me or a sandbag.
Right.
You can identify that. You or I can identify that. We can see that. It's natural. But when you lose that in men, I think it's at 73. That's just natural cognitive disorder. Happens to everybody. Not always the same in certain people, but he's got that. And the best part is when he does that fake ass jog. See, dude, we could get, okay, just for a second, we could get we're not getting 4 years of that. I think we all know why we're not getting 4 years. Because there's going to be a day where he just doesn't get up. But we could get 2. Picture the 3rd year, that stupid ass fake walk, except for a fucking leg falls off or something. And I mean, it's free entertainment.
He's almost got the it's reminiscent of the individual that has Parkinson's. Their gait, it's a shuffle.
Yeah.
It's not really a walk, and it goes back exactly what you said.
Watch
the whole
the right hand.
the whole
his right hand and nails. So that's like the neurological when people's hands start to curl in, right? There's that neurological damage a lot of the time. I think he's had a stroke, but no one's confirmed it. I always said that. I go, that fucking guy had a stroke probably shortly after he was elected, right? And they never confirmed it, but then you found out the other day a Secretary of State or Defense Secretary was in the hospital. You hear about that?
I heard something about it. I heard that they were in the intensive care for something.
Intensive care for 4 days.
And nobody knew.
No one knew. So let's think about that really quick. He was in there for 4 fucking days. The defense secretary, I think that's what he was. Don't quote me on that. But I would assume he's important. He's gone for 4 fucking days and no one fucking cared? No one knew?
Oh, there's something wrong with the keyboard. That's why. Oh, man. My keyboard's fucked up. That's why it's doing that. I don't know what happened. I'll fix that later. But anyway, yeah, I think it was the Secretary of Defense, and which is scary for so many freaking reasons, man. Because he's in the line of succession for the White House.
Right, we went over that one night. But think about that, dude. Think about the fucking so did no one care? They said no one knew, which you don't know what to believe. But if no one knew, then no one cared. And why would no one care? It's because, let's just say that you're the guy at work that you show up, it doesn't matter, because the same amount of shit gets done.
Right.
That motherfucker's like sitting there getting fucking intubated. It's getting fucking electrolytes ran through his blood and no one knows.
I will almost guarantee you that they knew.
Yeah, I mean, they did, but then think about that. They don't want to tell you that. So again, it goes back to my case. I've always said Biden had a stroke or something happened. Something happened.
I'm not so sure he didn't have a stroke during
The campaign, maybe?
Yeah, because, they hid him in the basement That was what they said, you know. He wasn't campaigning. He was hiding out in a basement. You might be onto something, man.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Now we know. We can confirm. I think we can confirm. Somehow or another, this truth got out, but God knows what else hasn't got out. You know, but we can confirm now that they're not going to fucking tell you, even if he did. I mean, he could have fucking died and they wouldn't tell you.
Oh, they would come out.
They'd get like a little sock puppet up there. Be like, no, that's him.
So what would happen is Kamala Harris would come out and say, with her great speaking ability, you know, okay, so something happened to the president, and Madam President, we need to get you off the stage.
Another one of those where they cut. Did you see the one where he was in? Was it South Korea or Vietnam? And they fucking pulled him off the stage. He kept talking.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's like, fuck, that's never happened before either, by the way. There's a lot of never happens in this presidency. That's one of them, or presidencies, period. There was also the other one, the night that I seen, he looked like he was fucking dead. I mean, looked like a cadaver, like bloodless. And they said to him, you ever heard that story? Everybody's heard it. My dad said that working, it's not just a job. A job is integrity. It's something that he always tells that same fucking story. And they asked him how his New Year's was. So how's your New Year's going, Mr. What do you think one of the most memorable moments of your New Year was? And he goes, my dad always said that the job's not just an integrity. And so your fucking his dad's been dead what? Well, he's fucking 81. So his dad been dead a while.
Yeah.
That was his most memorable thing from 2023.
Just like he was a professor at whatever university he said he was. And he was
just like a fucking sign-on consultant. Put your name. It's like saying, hey, would you co-sign the loan for my mortgage? Some shit like that.
You cannot believe a single word that comes out of that dude's mouth, man.
Oh, no. And he's always been like that, you know.
Not only can you not believe a single word, you can't understand a single word that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I heard a story on Obama, man, because Obama picked him originally. This is interesting. Maybe you know this. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But Obama originally picked him as VP because he said, Joe is not going to run for president after I go. And Obama liked that. He didn't want, he's older. He knew that he wouldn't run. He didn't, right? So remember, Obama gets out, and all of a sudden Biden says, I'm done, I don't want to run. People were like asking for him back then. And then Trump came in, and all of a sudden he waits 4 years, a term, and he comes back. Well, that was part of the reason that Obama didn't support him, because he was always too old. He wasn't really good. He'd been a 2-time loser.
He was a turd vice president.
Yeah, and he didn't. Well, you don't have to do shit. They just asked Nancy Pelosi about the vice president. She goes, well, everyone knows you don't have to do anything if you're vice president.
Well, she was lit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, she could have very well been in an ICU and no one cares,
Yeah. Like, about as much as I cared about somebody breaking into her house and hitting her wacky-ass husband over the head with a hammer.
Yeah, dude, I was watching some of the Capitol thing that they were talking about, because I haven't seen a whole lot of that. The Capitol, right? Some of those people were fucking nuts, dude. That was like, what are you doing? There's no defense of that.
No.
Some of that shit it was legit. Like, what are you doing? That's not how you handle that. You don't do that shit. You don't, they tried to blame it on Trump, but from what I could see, and they even had the transcripts, like he says, peaceful.
The day before.
Yeah. You're right, yeah.
The day before it happened, he said that.
Yeah, and no one said go do that, and no one should have done that. I don't stand by those.
No.
Those people fucking nuts.
I support your right to protest as long as you're doing it lawfully.
I wouldn't do that anywhere, let alone the Capitol building.
Hell no.
That's fucking crazy. That's insane shit right there. Whew.
But I understand where it's coming from, regardless of whether I condone or condemn it. It's coming from a place of pure frustration of all the ridiculousness that's going on in the country.
That's not the way you handled that, though.
I agree. I agree 100%. What I'm saying is that I understand where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. I don't support it. I think it's the wrong way to go about things, but I know why they feel that way and where that's coming from.
And that's what they want. So if you're doing that and you think it's going to solve anything, it just made it fucking worse. You know, it literally, the guy that you wanted so badly is now facing the ramifications of that. You know, that's how fucking stupid it is. And not to mention, that is, you paid for that. That is you're throwing chairs at the glass and breaking it in, and that's everybody's property. We paid for that. What the fuck are you doing? So
it's the same as the rioting and the looting. That doesn't do anything but set your cause back. It's the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's apples to apples. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what side you're on, wrong is wrong.
It is, and it's not the way. Protesting is one thing. Tearing shit up, that's not yours. That's the worst. It's that, you know, I don't care. Like I said, that I see you watch that Capitol riot, and then I wouldn't do that to someone's duck blind. You know? It's not yours. Don't do it. Leave it alone.
What the
They had some fireworks again.
Jesus Christ.
We're patriotic tonight. You know, we're talking Capitol building. But, you know, again, that's it. So what is your prediction? Because we're rolling into the new year. We've rolled into it, but we're getting into it. Election time's coming up. How do you think this plays out?
I don't know who's getting elected. I know it's not going to be Trump. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Biden. There's going to be a dark horse that's going to emerge. I don't know whether it's going to be Republican or Democrat, but there'll be a dark horse that appears here soon. And I'm not so sure that dark horse is going to be Michelle Obama.
Well, that's what I think it's going to be. I've said that. I got buddies that laugh at me for that. I've said it. I thought she'd enter in November. I was wrong about that. I thought he might announce in October, but then I was told, wasn't told, but I heard on somebody that knows a lot more than me talk about it, said they can wait all the way till September to make an announcement. They can wait that late and go, I'm stepping in. I didn't know that. I thought they'd need at least a year of campaigning. That's why I said November. But I said Mike from the beginning, and I still think that's who it'll be. I think it's the best option. There's either going to be one of the things that we had was when we had Mark Sargent on, and he was talking about he expected a war, like Biden to enter us into a major war. You don't switch horses main or mid race kind of deal. That's a good one. I think it goes in. I think it kind of goes in order of number one option would be Michelle Obama.
I don't think he's healthy enough. I think what's going to happen, she's not going to enter the race as a Democrat as long as the incumbent is in the race. I think what's going to happen is he's either going to die, which I don't wish that upon him, but let's face it, you know, he's 81 years old. He's not in the best health. Or he's going to drop out, which opens the door for Michelle, or they 25th Amendment his ass before. I don't see that last one being an option, really, because we're too close to the race at this point. But the other two are very legitimate options.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could go that way.
I
think it's Michelle, number one. Then I think it's...
So the Democratic Party is going to nominate the incumbent. That's just how it is. That's how you get the backing.
Well, it's not going to be Newsom. Newsom can't win that fucking election.
No, but hear me out. What I'm saying is the Democratic Party will be behind the incumbent, which is Joe Biden. No other Democrat is going to be smart enough at that point. You're going to see him dropping off, right? But Michelle's smart enough to know that she needs the backing of the party, and she'll get it. How is she going to get it, though? So I don't see her entering the race. If she does enter, it's going to be very late in the game, or something's going to happen to Biden where he
Joe, do not get near stairs.
Right.
Stay away from fucking stairs.
Where he either, you know, he elects to drop out, or he gets sick, or something. Something's going to happen, man. I'm telling you, everything is planned out with these folks.
Yeah, and they don't stop. They're relentless. I think so. Again, man, I think it's going to be her. However it goes down, I think she's going to be the nominee. If that doesn't work, if they can't get that to go down for whatever reasons, but now she's coming out talking politics. Like the other day, she was on. She called in, so obviously she must have called in to get on a podcast. Is what it was. Now she doesn't have a book deal coming out, or no book coming out, no movies, whatever stupid Netflix shows are, none of that. For her to do that, not promote something, because they are opportunists, right? That's what they do. Tells me I'm right. She's getting out there now, starting to dip her toes into it. She's going to come out before long, get more and more involved, and keep doing more. So I think that's number one. If that doesn't end up being a case, then I think it's definitely a war type situation. We're entered into a major war. It could also be some sort of cyber attack. I think maybe they'll do like a pandemic thing again, but with cyber. That's what I'm hearing is that for sure by 2025, expect like all your cyber, if you have online accounts and shit, to be just boom, everything gone. It would be worse than COVID, and then that would obviously change everything. The CIA just came out about it, which is interesting. They came out and said the same thing, like, "Oh, we're worried that the right is going to do a cyber attack during ballot getting time," which means that they would be the ones that would do it, and then they would do it up that way. That's a possibility. And then number one, or the last option, I think, is the one they don't really want to do, because I think it exposes everyone, and that's eradicate the competition, just out and out. I think they canceled, and that's the reason why. Dude, I honestly think Trump would have been assassinated the first time around, except for they have a new device called cancel. They can shut him down, use the media to turn against people now. They didn't have that with Kennedy, so they just had to get rid of him. They have different options now, but looks like with Twitter, which he hasn't gotten back onto, he probably should. I think Rogan's probably going to have him on here shortly. They're not going to like that.
It's a different type of assassination. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's an assassination, but it's a public assassination.
It's character.
Yeah, it's a character assassination. Yeah, dude, man, I don't know. It's crazy.
So what you said earlier is so true, is that the Democrats are telling you everything that they're going to do.
It's right there.
All you have to do is listen to what they're accusing the right of doing.
And then they do it.
And they do it.
Yeah.
So it's easy to see what they're doing, but for whatever reason, the Republican Party is just not smart enough. I won't say they're not smart enough. They don't have the fucking balls to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, it goes back to what I said a while back. They've got this mentality still that the people will see the logic. If we just sit here in our suit and tie, they're eventually going to see how stupid that is and see that, and logic will win out. Well, those days are over, and that's one of the things, man. I know people don't like her. I don't really have a take on her. I don't give her a whole lot of attention. There's a couple of them, Bilbert from Colorado, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, which everyone knows and gets. But look, I think they get it. It's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease.
Yep.
And they understand that that's what the Democrat AOC, the crazy shit, the 82-year-old Nancy Pelosi still in office. They understand that that's what gets the attention. The crazier, the Fetterman. This guy showed up in hoodies and shit.
What a fucking tool.
That's what gets it. And unfortunately, man, the conservatives they're just not innovative.
The problem is the conservatives are not understanding the fact that, they think logic will prevail. But you're forgetting the simple, basic fact. Who runs the education system?
Yep.
They're indoctrinated from day freaking one.
Yeah.
And so there's the problem. There's no logic anymore because they've been taught what to think and how to think.
Yeah, that happened fast. I see that a lot now in the 20s to 30s. If you see this different type of men in women's clothing, and you see it, like we've seen one time. I see it almost every day now here, and we're in a pretty conservative area. And whatever, do your thing, man. I could care less. But you can see they are kind of tools of that. That is, some of them might feel like that or be like that, but not all of them. And this is definitely a product of the institutions. It's definitely a product of online, and online's kind of working for them. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's do we get it back? Do you think we get this? Do you think we ever get it back? I mean, we'll never go back to the days, and there's a lot of things that were undesirable about a lot of the old times too, of course.
The potential is there. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. I just worry about our kids, man, because I don't, I think the biggest threat to me is I always let my kids form their own opinions. I give them my values and my views, but I say, I don't always know everything. Maybe I'm wrong. Why don't you go out and learn and bring it back to me? But let's be reasonable. Let's understand that there are only two sexes. There just fucking is.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the way it is. Let's be sensible if we're going to talk this shit, but we'll talk if you want to talk. And I think that's what you do, man. You arm them with your values. You try not to, you don't give them opinions. You let them form their own, but you give them, grains of salt. Like I always tell my kids, it's like, I'm like that. Remember Juan Valdez, the bean picker? Like
racist.
I pick out the bad beans for you guys. I give you the good beans.
Racist.
Yeah, probably. But that's what I do, man. That's my job is I try to keep the beans selected and I give them to you. Here's what you get, and throw the bad shit away, so you get the best of the best. That's about all you can do as a parent. Yeah. You don't want to raise a kid to hate. You don't want to raise a kid. You want to raise a kid to keep an open mind, and
more importantly, I try to teach my kids to think for themselves. Mm-hmm. Don't follow the norm because everybody's doing it.
But be logical, be reasonable.
If you give me a good, thought-provoking reason as to why you want to do something, I will entertain that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and just kind of like religion of old, man, because religion of old, if you think about it, didn't always make sense. It didn't.
Nope.
It just kind of fell on, there's heaven up there, and then we find out it's a universe or stars or planets.
Well, I have a huge problem with organized religion.
Right.
Huge. It was purely a means to control the masses, and the majority of people that were alive at that time were uneducated. They didn't know how to read. They didn't know how to write, so they relied on the priest and the church gave them their rules. And so humans are humans. They're corrupt, and so even it became in cahoots with the clergy and the ruling factors of the time to basically corral and keep them in check. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know any better because you couldn't read.
Yeah, who's the guy that finally discovered, was it Copernicus or Galileo? The philosopher that discovered that those were stars. I think it was Copernicus, right?
It was that one guy.
That one guy. Yeah. He decided, and this is always funny to me because it was like, man, that motherfucker knew they'd killed everybody else. The Catholic Church had killed everybody. Like, well, no, there's God, and we're going to cut your head off now. And don't denounce it. And that's kind of where we're at now. Like, we say it's this way, and don't say anything else. And he proved it, but he also said, but that doesn't mean that God still can't exist. Like,
right.
It was him putting a save my neck kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And they agreed to agree, like, okay, so God can still exist. But that's kind of like, religion was crazy like that. And we find out there's planets and shit like that. That's one of the things I tell my kid is the same people that love science so much when there was vaccines and COVID and shit don't like science when it applies to other things like Y chromosomes or whatever.
Exactly.
All of a sudden that doesn't exist. So be logical.
The liberal mind, in my opinion, and if I have any of my liberal friends listening, you can agree or disagree or be mad at me, whatever. Never mind. I just lost thought.
Would you say we're probably old style liberal more than we?
I would say that about me.
I always thought of myself as kind of on that side in terms of a lot of things. I was open to a lot more things than probably people that I knew or real conservatives were back in the day. And I think it's moved so far left that we've now we appear to be that.
If I sit back and analyze it, I would have to, if I was going to label myself, I would probably say that I am most definitely, without a doubt, fiscally conservative. But I'm socially liberal on a lot of things. A lot of things. Like, I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you marry.
Yeah.
I don't care if you think you're a freaking snail. Just don't try to force me into living your life and telling me what I can and can't say and telling me what pronouns I have to use and can't use. I mean, if you're obviously a dude and you're wearing a dress, or let's not even go there. Say you're a dude and you're wearing normal clothes, but you identify as a woman. I've never met you before, and I say, "Oh, excuse me, bro," or something like that, and you flip out at me. You're the fucking idiot, not me.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know without meeting you what you identify as, especially if you're dressed very ambiguously? Go fuck yourself. You know. Conversely, if I have a friend that is transgender and they say, "Hey, I would really like it if you referred to me as her, she, whatever," I got no issues with that. You know, but because they're not demanding I call them that, but they're saying, and out of respect to that person and their friend in our friendship, I would do so until you tell me I have to, and then all bets are off. You go fuck yourself.
Yeah, see, I'm one. I don't really care. Like, yeah, if you don't mislabel me, I'll call you whatever you want. If you want me to call you a fucking horse and go, I just identify as a horse, I'll call you a horse.
Hey, you don't have to do that.
Last time you ever see me again, but you know what I mean? It's like, I'll indulge you, whatever. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter to me. Do your thing. But when you come at my kids or something like that, we got a different story.
Well, that's a whole different ball game there.
It's a whole other story, and that's kind of the deal. Like, if you want to. If you're a man that wants to dress like a woman, dude, fucking do it. But do your thing and don't, because now it's okay for you to do it, try to push other people into doing it so you're not alone at the party. Because that's in a lot of cases what it comes down to. If you just want to, that's who you are, that's who you identify, dude, be the best. Be the best. If you're a guy who wants to be a girl, be the best girl you can be.
Be the best hoe on the block.
Be the best guy you can be. Be the best. Be the fucking best. Go out and do it. I remember I had somebody ask me one time, "What would you do if one of your kids were gay?" And I said, "Be the best motherfucking gay you can be."
That's right. Suck that dick.
I could care less. But
don't forget the balls.
Don't deny yourself, but be the best you can be. That's the only thing you can say. That's why I think we're more liberal, or at least used to be, but we don't really qualify as that anymore. We just kind of, because it's so far, of course. Dude, if they move the goalposts, of course the field goal is fucking longer now and to the left. We didn't move. We're in the same fucking spot we always were, but you know, and don't think that's there's social media changed so much of that shit. And by the way, there's powers that be that are behind this.
Of course.
And that's my biggest worries when I see this, the 20s to 30s now. I worry that, I guess I don't worry, but I look at someone and go, is this your decision? Or are you being manipulated in a way that you don't even, maybe you're being tooled around, and maybe a way you don't know you're being tooled around. I think that's a lot of it, honestly. Like, maybe you're confused, and now you've got a bunch of people that just stand to make a lot of money off this.
Here's what blows my mind. There's so much talk in the country now about mental health, right? We got to have our mental health, make sure we're not suicidal. Let's reduce the amount of suicide. Let's work on depression, and let's be mindful of our mental well-being. That's great. Everybody's preaching that. That's wonderful, and I agree with it. However, let's just go ahead and call a spade what it is, a spade a spade. Transgender, body dysmorphia. It is a mental health illness, period. And I'm not saying that to pick fun at anybody or to whatever the case may be, but it's simply a mental health disorder, and we need to treat it as such. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't be respectful to these folks, but come on, man. It is what it is, you know? You can't spout mental health awareness, this, that, and the other, and then at the same time come back and tell me, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really a chick. I know I still got my twig and berries. that's a sickness, man. Anorexia, well, that's a whole different ball of wax. But you have so many subcategories that fit into body dysmorphia. You've got people that are literally cutting limbs off. That's not right. Right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. So why are we accepting the fact that, well, transgender, it's not really a mental health disorder? Yeah, it is. And then the argument that really gets my goat is that, well, we used to think that homosexuality was a mental disorder. And to their credit, it was in the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Manual of Mental Health Disorders, the criteria for diagnosing. And it's been removed. Yes, that's true. And I don't think that homosexuals have a mental disorder. I just don't. But the transgender comes with so many associated disorders encompassed into it. You cannot sit there and say it's not a mental health disorder. You've got the depression. You've got so many other associated anxiety, many other issues, and shame on these psychiatrists and these mental health quote-unquote professionals that are pushing the narrative and the agenda. Because in my opinion, they're no longer healthcare professionals. They're activists. They're pushing their agenda, and they should lose their license. Mm-hmm. If we're trying to get it out there and destroy the stigma of mental health to begin with, well, then why is this different? It's still a mental health disorder. Let's get you the help that you need, but let's acknowledge what it really is, and let's stop all this ridiculous bullshit going on in the world.
Yeah, I agree. And I suffer from it. I really do, man. Transgender, no. Body dysmorphia, I always have. I got another buddy, we've talked about this a lot, where if I'm not bigger, stronger, if I don't, there was a time when I was a lot, I just couldn't get big enough. I wanted to be, I just didn't, there was something in my head. It's still there. I still train. I always questioned myself, like, why have I done that? I've torn my joints up. I've done all these things. I liked it. And I don't feel mentally right unless I carry a certain, amount of body fat, or I carry a certain amount of size, a certain amount of strength. I feel less than I'll get depressed. It's a thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and for me, it's not. It's at a smaller degree, to where I never went on steroids or drugs to get there. I could have upped it and got carried away, but I knew I don't want to do that. Those aren't. But I do know I want to do this, and I do know I don't feel good if I don't look strong or look big or look like I work out. I just don't. It's a thing. It's in here. I know it is, and me and my buddy have talked about it a lot. And he's the same way. You can identify if you listen to him long enough. He'll get like shoulder surgeries, and he'll still go to the gym because it drives him nuts that he might be losing size, even though his shoulder just got operated on. He still has to get there because it's a mind thing.
Totally,
and you can't overcome that. You have to kind of work, and I think there's different levels of that. You like for my size, you'll take it up a next level to a bodybuilder that's so, you're never going to compete, yet you're on so many steroids, you can't even afford a house payment. You're on the street now, but you can't afford, you've spent it all on food and steroids because you got this going on. I've seen that a lot, by the way, in Vegas. When I was out there, I'd see guys that I know were probably spending $7,000 a month in drugs.
Jesus.
And you'd see the car they'd pull away, and you'd look at them and go, man, dude, I don't know if you're going to make it home.
I'm going to disagree with you on one point, and it's you said you can't overcome it. I disagree with that. I think you can overcome it, and there are ways to overcome that. Now, you are more than likely not going to do it on your own. You're going to have to. It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. And I'm not saying
but it doesn't. Here's the thing: it's not that I couldn't overcome it. I'm not hurting anybody.
Right.
I do my thing. It makes me feel good. I don't hurt anybody by doing it. I'm not saying. It's just like guns or something. Like I like guns. I don't say that everyone has to carry a gun. Maybe that's not your thing. I'm not pushing that on you. So
right.
I don't need to overcome it because I'm not impeding on anybody's life. So could I, if it was affecting others around me, then I could stop. Yeah.
I'm just saying that so if anybody's listening, that they don't hear you can't overcome it. Period.
Yeah.
You can, but you're going to need to seek help. But what you're saying is 100% right. You're not hurting anyone. You're not even hurting yourself.
Yeah, and I don't go out there and say, I need to use the women's restroom because I like to work out.
Right.
I like to lift weights and I need to use the restrooms. Here's the thing I do think, and maybe you'll agree or don't agree. I do think there are some people that maybe legit are born like that. Maybe there's something wrong. And the reason why I say this is because I can't be so certain that that's not the case when I can obviously see someone who maybe was born without a certain chromosome or one extra. You see it all the time. You see autism, you see it. So if that's possible, then why can't there be like maybe a mistake on,
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second. Nature can be cruel sometimes. However, the true numbers of those cases are very rare.
Right.
And they do need the help and the support that they get from the mental health community. But it's a
fact.
fact.
The ones that really have it, they should get. Well, the ones that really have it should honestly be kind of pissed because they should be like, well, I really am like this.
The ones that really have it are not the ones going out there spouting this stupid shit.
I agree. Yeah, they it's not for attention. It's because they legit. And I have read Abigail Schreier's got a great book on it, and she covers a person actually goes through it. It's not an easy surgery either.
No, it's God,
So
it's
if you-
painful.
yeah, I
It's
don't
a
think you really
long. It's like if I remember correctly, I think I saw the research. It's like a 12 to 15 hour surgery.
Yeah, dude, I used to follow this guy years ago in his workout logs. Man, he's a fucking great guy. His name is Matt Krokleski. I say it wrong.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard of that guy.
You should look him up. You should look him up. You'll love it. I couldn't believe it, dude. So I knew the guy before. I'll get to that in a second. I used to follow him, man. I liked him so much. He did these rows that were called croc rows, and they were fucking just put all kinds of weight on. He was just a beast. And he'd go and his nose would bleed, and he had this shirt that was made with him like blood on a dumbbell. It was really cool. I liked it. I don't know why. But anyhow, I loved his vlogs. I'd read him because he's really insightful. And he'd say he's always positive, always say good things. One day I was flipping through, this is about 10 years later, so about 5 years ago. It was about 15 years, 5 years ago, but I'd been following him for years. I kind of fell off and didn't know what was going on. I was flipping through Netflix and there was a thing said, I can't remember what it was, a documentary. And I realized after looking more into it, it's him. And he'd fucking transgendered.
What? Was he a blonde?
What do you mean?
Like when he transitioned to a woman, did he have blonde, short hair?
Yeah, so he was a buzz cut military guy, big, huge, just a fucking beast. And he ended up, I guess this was always in. I watched the damn thing, and at the end of it, I looked at Betts and I was like, "Fuck, man." Because I knew that and he was not from everything I knew about him. I don't know him personally, but he was always genuine, and seemed to want to help people legit. And then maybe this was just a thing. But here was what was weird: is he was really big as a guy. So that's I think because like I said, I'm nowhere near as big as that he is. He's a fucking beast, but he had to be at that level, and then all of a sudden he had to be at another level. I don't really know how to distinguish the difference there, but I remember I told my wife afterwards, I said, well, fuck, maybe. I mean,
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Dude, I was shocked because I like I said, I told Betsy, I fucking followed this guy, man. I loved this guy. Like, I liked his workout logs that he put in. I was like, this guy's got to go. He was a power lifter, and then he went into bodybuilding. And then to see that happen, I was like, well, shit. I mean, I don't know.
There's a retired Navy SEAL. He was a dev group guy, SEAL Team 6. Retired, transitioned to a woman. And then probably within the last year, he detransitioned back into a man. And his whole thing was he was confused. He just didn't know. He had feminine tendencies, but this is a stone cold badass killer fucking hero, right? So in his mind, he figured out that it wasn't really transgenderism with him. And there's several podcasts out there with this guy on, and I can't do his story justice. But my point is, going back to your point, where there's a very small percentage of actual true transgender out there. But right now it's the fad. And if you're a little bit confused on your sexuality, you must be transgender. Yeah, everybody that goes through puberty has some thoughts at some point. They're trying to figure out who they are. That's normal. It's natural. Doesn't mean you're a chick hiding on the inside, you know? But for the few small numbers of true transgendered individuals out there, I really feel for them. I do. And it's such a small percentage. And the stigma is out there that they take so much shit. But now they're getting it from their own side, because their own side's turning it into such a circus that they're taking the true value away from these individuals that truly need the help.
One of the things that you were just talking about, the guy that decided that it was mistaken to go back, that is when they turn against them. Now, they're all for them when they're... Now, tell me there's not something behind that in terms of pharmaceutical companies and medicine and surgeries, because they're all for it. But the minute that they decide, I don't want to do that anymore, that's the ultimate sin.
Right.
But wait a second. You were fine when they transitioned, but now you're not. Now you're totally against them, and they're failing you. Because, I think it's, I said this earlier, it's such a fragile stance, and they know it. And they know that there's not a lot on this other than maybe a few certain individuals, and there's a lot of money to be made in it. And
it's huge.
You know, I've heard all the way up to $100,000 in top bottom surgery like that. Well, dude, if you knew that, let's just say that people who were confused, like you were saying, might kill themselves or commit suicide, wouldn't you say, if you're a pharmaceutical company, you would say, well, you know what? They're going to kill themselves anyway. So why can't we just make a couple $100,000 off them before they do? And then I've heard it's I don't know anything about it, but I've heard it's a lifetime drug thing. It's a perpetual drug user after till the day they die.
You have to stay on those hormones.
Yeah, and so if you could just say, hey, let's
wait a minute. Why do you have to stay on those hormones though?
I don't know.
Because you're not the sex you're trying to pretend to be.
Right. Yeah.
Period.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I guess live the best life you can live. If that's how you want to live, then live like that. I'm not going to tell you you're not. And like I said, don't impede on someone else's life. And I think that comes down to the restrooms. If my little girl's in that restroom, you're going to have a problem.
Huge problem.
You're going to have a problem. I have no problem any other time, but you're going to have a problem then.
Yeah. Just be, well, I was going to say just be smart. Rule that out right away.
And that's where, again, that's, I think, is a big thing. But who knows? Yeah, we better end this. I better get...
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah. So we've gone the gamut, man. We've talked about comedians all the way up to transgender. So
yeah, the transgender thing, we got to get off that. What's going on?
I'm going to get off on it later.
I can see that. Look at this.
All right, folks. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for participating in the chat room. Sorry about the crazy crap going on the screen. I'll figure that out next year or something. But anyway, until next week, bye-bye.
See ya. Word.